Justin Horo in Sydney, Australia. That is the Triple OG on the other side of the screen.
What's happening?
Somewhere in the background, just lurking in the shadows, is my man, the bro, Lukey Stowe. Before we get, I want to ask you about Vegas straight off the top, Mace. But before we get to that, I just want to let everyone know. So we announced the golf day this week. We have, the plan is for sponsorship to have all 18 holes sponsored. We've got 14 out of 18. There are 4 remaining. So do not text me, do not DM me, or do not reach out to partner@levelsnetwork.com.au unless you are keen to sponsor a hole. So we've got 4 more holes to go. And by the way, this is how good last year's day was, Mace. I had both Regan Campbell-Gillard and Birdie messaged me after the video and asked why they weren't invited back again this year. I said,
no invite?
No, they're on the roster. I just couldn't go through the entire 32-man roster and take up an entire clip. So I just named a few names. I named some new guys, some that are returning.
Yeah.
But the boys are coming. Anyone who was there last year is getting dips for this year. So players from last year, that's how good last year's was. They were starting to panic that they weren't going to be invited back. So
it's going to be enormous, way better than last year.
Yeah. Also, and because of how well it went, I guess, with some of the Para boys, Junior Barlow reached out.
Yeah.
and he texted me and he reached out through Dylan Walker and said, "Can I get on?" So Big Junes has been added to the roster as well. Boys, tell me about the dramas on the way over. What happened? Were you in an Uber from LA to Vegas? Is that what you were doing?
Yeah. So obviously the flight is like, 14, 15 hours to LA. Got off, and then I was just like, okay, well, 10:30 flight, 10:30 a.m., right?
Yeah.
I was like, sweet. And then someone goes, it's 10:30 p.m., the flight. I said, fuck off. No way. There was a couple of guys in the zoo camp and all that kind of stuff, that flew over. I went, no way. I said, we can't do that shit. So we got an Uber all the way from fucking LAX all the way to fucking Vegas. Cost us probably, I reckon, what, 450? 450? Mad Serbian dude, just sunk piss the whole way. He didn't shut up, right, the whole time. He knew everybody in the whole, went past Crenshaw Boulevard, went past all these rap sort of ghetto sort of stuff, you know what I mean? Like educated all of us about that, which we probably already knew, but I'm like, it was fucking intense.
So how long were you supposed to wait at the airport for? Why did you what was
10
the time
hours.
when you arrived?
7 a.m. and there was like a 10:30 p.m. flight.
Oh, what? So what were you supposed to do? Just sit at the airport for the whole time or whatever?
Yeah. Not a fucking chance. Never, ever. I said, get a cab or just get something so we can just get the fuck out of here. So it was a good little trip.
Yeah, nice. I've always thought that, just watching it from the movies, I always thought that trip would be okay. So 4-hour trip?
It is. And it was awesome, right? Had a couple of beverages in the back, and this guy just wouldn't shut up, telling us about stories about gangsters and fucking Magic Johnson and how he's picked up fucking, heap of porkies. A heap of porkies along the way.
You would have loved him.
Yeah, and I just kept egging him on and just like, what else happened? What else? What? Magic Johnson got in your cab with who? Novak Djokovic and Nikola Jokic and Vladi Divac.
Vladi Divac. OG.
Picked them all up at separate occasions, and they all ended up in one cab. Liar.
Now he's got Willie Mason to tell stories about as well.
Yeah, he individually picked them up on different corners. He reckons 4 people. I was like,
tell us about
that would have been awesome,
mate. What's the energy like? Wednesday night, the fight's in a couple of nights. I've seen you've done some stuff with Timmy already. The bit of a stare down. How's Timmy feeling?
He looks good. And just say for the last fight. Remember we were at the gym the last time, and he just looked a little bit. Wasn't comfortable. You know what I mean? Now, he looks fit. He looks really he looks happy. he looks content and confident as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, and I had a few words to him and all that kind of stuff, but he just felt way better. Way better.
Would you, because, like he's obviously wanted to get to this fight too. Like the nerves of it's almost like the lead up. That was like he needed to tick that box. That's probably, that's the more nervous energy of not being able to complete that. Once he ticked that box, now he's here at a big fight again. Now he's in Vegas. Like this is like kicking a goal from the sideline,
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Like when I asked him a question last time, I said, look, the winner out of this or the loser out of this goes way down the totem pole, right? Then he goes, that's when because he's quite, reserved and everything like that. That's when he sort of like he rose up and goes, yeah, you're right. You're right. Like if I lose this, I'm not going to have a shot at this like Fundora dude again, So we beat the shit out of that dude, and then now he's here. Like he feels way more comfortable, and it was such a good night last night. You know what I mean? We were there at like Bellagio, out the front of the Bellagio. There was heaps of like just a heap of media. And I think people thought that I was fighting him.
Your Fundora?
Yeah. And then because we had
put on some weight.
Yeah, he's about 125 kilo, and he's like fucking 72. Because we had that face off and everything like that, and people were like filming it. I looked at it. They go, yeah, that's the fight tomorrow. I was like, I'm not fucking fighting. There's no way.
They probably thought you were some heavyweight on the card as well. Like maybe Tim Zoo's there, and you're some heavyweight that's on the card.
Yeah, not a chance. Not a chance.
All right. Well, all the best, boys. Got a couple more days before you get back, so enjoy the fight. Anything else from there that sort of stands out? Did you get to see or run into Manny Pacquiao at all?
No, we were there. We just got back from the press conference at the MGM Grand. They all just come out, and Barrios was there, and Manny come out. It was just they make it fucking drag on, Hoz. Like we were there at 12 o'clock. They didn't get on till 2.
Yeah. That's always the case with these. I've been to a few of these boxing promotions. They get you there really early, you settle around, and then they drag it. They get everyone pumped, the anticipation, and then they bring them in there like 15 minutes in and out. All right, well, let's get to some footy. Let's start it off with a text from Warstar, and it's about the Ashes tour we got at the end of the year. He's gone through the lineup, and I'm just going to read this lineup to you, Mace. You'll be familiar with a few of the NRL boys. There might be a few names you're not familiar with, but I want all of our English followers who are going to be joining us, running into us while we're over there in England for the Ashes at the end of the year. We named the Australian team. Warstar, who's a Kiwi, named what he deems to be England's best potential 17. So Jack Wellesby at fullback. You're aware of Jack from St Helens. Dom Young and Matty Ashton from Warrington on the wings. With Dom Young, obviously we know about him from the Knights. He's got Herbie Farnworth at the centres, lock, Harry Newman or AJ Brimson as the other centre. Harry Newman's from Leeds. George Williams, 6 and skipper. Harry Smith, the halfback from Wigan. Ethan Havard from Wigan as well, with Matty Lease and Darryl Clark up front. Our boy Junior and Semba, the guy you loved from Vegas at the start of the year, Mace, with Kai Pearce-Paul in the background and Victor Radley at the lock position. Mikey Lewis from Hull KR in the 14 jersey. Morgan Smithies, Matt Nicholson, the 2 Canberra Raiders players, and either John Bateman or Luke Thompson on the bench. I'll also throw Big Tommy Burgess. I think Tommy Burgess, even though Huddersfield aren't playing well, will be a part of that. And maybe Morgan Knowles, who's on his way over from St Helens to the Dolphins next year to reunite with Christian Wolf. He writes, it's a really solid team all round, and England will lift as well. As a neutral Kiwi, I can't wait for this series. Love learning about the players we don't watch week to week. Best of luck to your trip, lads. Thank you. And also, got another one from Fletchy. Liam Martin has ruled himself out of the Ashes at the end of the year as well. His partner is expecting the birth of their child in October, so he wants to be around for that. So Liam Martin will not be a part of the best Australian team at the end of the year anyway.
And deserves a rest, right? Yeah. Like he's been playing like 5 or 6 years at the top level. But the English team, they're always going to be hard. Always. This is the Ashes, right? Where we grew up on that. The 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and all that kind of stuff. And most of these guys that are playing now, they didn't, right? So it's up to the coaches to really just indoctrinate them into how special that is, right? To represent Australia, to represent Great Britain, and play in the Ashes. Like, it's massive.
How hard is it to beat them over there compared to when they have to travel down to our, like, the conditions here for summer? You know, like, you're going over there winter when it's getting cold. They've had their summer, and then you've got to acclimatise in October when you're probably going to start training when it's going to be hot here in Australia in October in spring,
Yeah.
and then go over and it's, you know, it could be raining, it could be miserable.
Freezing.
Like, what's that like?
Well, I told you about my first test when we won by 64, right? And then we go, but like same sort of team, right? In 2003, and we just win in the last 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Like, every game, they could have easily beat us. It was probably the most hostile sort of like crowd that I've ever played in front of, apart from
And
Origin.
Moz got sent off straight away, didn't he?
Yeah. But apart from Origin, that was probably the most hostile crowd I've ever like faced. Because they get up for it, man. They get up like they you know it's like playing over there. They sing songs, they bag players, they just get along. They get behind their team. Especially, it's Great Britain. It ain't just like it ain't England. It's Great Britain now. So you got everybody there. So it's a special time.
Well, we can't wait. We're going to be there at the end of the year. If you're a Plum and you let us know if you like or dislike that lineup, any changes you'd make. But if you want to join us from over here, make sure you go to ashesrl.com.au. We have maybe a week or so left before we sort of shut it off and lock in whoever the touring party is here from Australia. So make sure you get involved. Got a reply. You remember how on Monday I was talking about the Queenslanders, the animosity between just say not the animosity, but if you're from Western Sydney, you don't necessarily like people from the Bondi over the bridge. If you're from the country, you don't really like the city slickers here in New South Wales. So I asked the question on the potty on Monday, and I got this reply from the Ando. He goes, "Not true about the Queenslanders. I live up here, and there is a bit of tension between the southeast Queenslanders and the North Queenslanders. North Queenslanders seem to think they're hard done by in comparison to their counterparts in the South. I do agree that Queenslanders feel as though their state is way more of their identity compared to New South Wales folk." And by the way, the Ando, he sounds like he's originally from New South Wales and moved up to Queensland. That's just the vibe I'm getting from that text. So if you're from Queensland, let us know. But what do you think about that, Mace? Have you heard any animosity from any of the Queenslanders over the years about the guys who live in the north during your time in Townsville? Did anyone talk shit about people from Brisbane?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Okay.
They did. Yeah, it's true. You know what I mean? Like, so they think they're city slickers, right? So like you're talking about like central Queensland, like Rockhampton, like guys are from like absolutely. I couldn't even fucking name the towns that they're from, right?
Yeah.
And then they'll play for Brisbane, but they're from North Queensland. You should play for North Queensland. You should play for this and that. You know, like this. It's a bit of animosity there. It is.
Okay.
But like,
okay.
It's nothing like New South Wales. What you were saying.
Yeah.
It ain't that bad. It ain't that bad. They just, yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to our TJM comp winners. Just want to remind everyone, and congratulations to the winners. We have handed out the major prize. I had the winner of the major prize reach out, but we need now for the two minor prizes, which are David Dobson 2287 and Ch159 from YouTube. Can you DM us at Levels and screenshot and prove that you guys are the winners? Because I have sent the email for the main prize winner, and we just want to say congratulations to everyone who to the two winners. So you want to get your prizes, you need to reach out to us at Levels. TJM is also running a mid-year camping clearance right now, so get to tjm.com.au. You can access rooftop tents, awnings, swags, fire pits, and even the mighty TJM buzzsaw. That offer expires on July 31st. Mace, while you've been away, it's been a bit of a nightmare week for the Newcastle Knights. You grew up around the area. Let's go through the timeline. and then I'll get your thoughts after that. So
Yeah.
this was the first story that broke. The Knights power brokers have reportedly ticked off plans to part ways with Adam O'Brien at the end of the 2025 season and in his 6-year tenure in the Hunter. Then, less than 24 hours later, it was reported that Knights captain Kalyn Ponga has been linked to switch to European Rugby Union, despite being contracted to the club until the end of 2027. Then it was reported that Knights captain Kalyn Ponga, if he does go to Union, has no interest in playing for the All Blacks, which a lot of people assumed was the case. If he doesn't switch to rugby union, it's been reported that it's either going to be Japanese or European rugby. There are also concerns. The next story was there are concerns that the Knights administration don't have the track record to replace Adam O'Brien if they move on from him, with reports that assistant coach Blake Green is the leading candidate. Crawley believes, the next story is, Paul Crawley believes the Knights would be much better served with a coach like former Eels boss Brad Arthur, who's got experience as an NRL coach already. And then the latest report is Kalyn Ponga, his Knights contract saga has taken another turn, with reports he could stay if Maroon's assistant, Josh Hannay, is brought in as a head coach. So, Mace, it looks as though
That's
Adam
a lot.
O'Brien will be done. And depending on the coaching situation, this is all just reported, with 3 candidates of Blake Green, who's the current assistant, BA, who was the coach of the Parramatta Eels and Adelaide Rhinos, and Josh Hannay, who is the assistant coach at the Sharks currently and obviously worked with Kalyn at the Maroons. Those are the 3 candidates. Run me through all of that. That's a lot to take in. What's happening at the Knights, mate? And where do you think this all ends up?
Seems like a shit show at the moment, right? Ponga is their main guy. And like to get even this conversation here, for them to even talk about getting rid of him is like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, or does he want to go? Like, we don't know.
I believe he wants. So look, this is just all rumours, and you know what it's like with the journos. Everyone is trying to get as much information as possible. And we'll get to a follow-up story, which I think could impact it around Rugby 360, this new sort of franchise that the Saudis are trying to get going with Roger and Pappy. It seems as though, and Joey's come out himself and said, if Kalyn was to leave, he's done everything he possibly can, basically, for the Knights, and would understand if Kalyn wanted to leave. But it sounds like there's at least frustrations with Kalyn, with what's been happening with Newcastle for the last couple of years. And if he does leave, it's probably not going to be to another NRL team. It feels like he just wants to get a clean slate and go to rugby union. And if reports are true, he is willing to stay if they go for Josh Hannay. So if you were the Knights, or if you're a Knights fan, what are you doing, mate? Like, you've got 2 big contracts with Kalyn and Dylan Brown on the books. Are you considering Kalyn's request at all if this is true, or are you just, all right, we might just let Kalyn walk here, make the decision on the coach on its own merits, and then and build the franchise through guys like Dylan Brown, Fletcher Sharp, Bradman Best, who they've still got on the roster? What would you be doing?
I reckon they see, you look at Fletcher Sharp, right? He's an out and out fullback, right? Kalyn Ponga's, he's not at the end of his career, but like if you hear rumors like this, that he wants to go play for the All Blacks, he wants to go Europe, like this Saudi shit, all this kind of stuff, you'd be like, you'd come to the table and go, do you want to leave? Like, do you want to leave? Yeah. They'll probably let him go. I reckon they will. Because the fact is, Fletcher Sharp is not a 5'8". Dylan Brown's coming there to play 5'8", right? So what happens even when he comes next year? It's going to be a shit show again, like for the coach, regardless of
figure out the positions.
Yeah, how are you going to figure it out? Because like Fletcher Sharp is an out and out fullback. He tried 5'8" this year, doesn't look good at 5'8". He's a runner. Like he needs to split the field. You know what I mean? But like with Kalyn Ponga, like he's been threatening to go play for the All Blacks for this, and he's a smart man, right? Kalyn Ponga, right? If it's European rugby, if it's his Saudi sort of stuff, he'll be the guy to do it, you know? this as well, 27, 28, getting that, you got to set yourself up for life. It's a business now, it's a business.
If you're the Knights, though, Mace, you're running the Knights and you get assurances from Kalen. Is that your priority to keep Kalen, though, and try to figure out what Fletcher and Dill Brown looks like? Or you just want to know that he's happy?
I would want to know, have front here, hey, do you want to go? Are you feeling it? You want to go? Yes or no, and then get it from there. If you want to stay, stay. If not, I don't think they're going to be throwing the bank at him or just say, oh, stay, you know what I mean? He's on 1.4 anyway. You can get Fletcher Sharp there and you got Brown coming. It's you could probably make do. You could probably make do and then save a lot on the cap.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's funny. It's for sure the Dylan Brown contract factors into what's happening now with at least the future of Kalen and probably before the contract. There's no way they even consider this. You need the star power of Kalen as well. Would you, if in order to keep Kalen, you go with Josh Hannay? Because it feels like Josh Hannay's been on everyone's radar now for a number of years, and he feels like the guy for the. Would you prefer to go with a guy who's coached and got experience like Brad Arthur? Go with someone from within like Blake Green who knows all the players. Apparently got a really good footy brain. I know Greeny from my time as well.
Yeah.
Or Josh Hannay, who has seemingly been the name that's been next up now, or at least in contention for a number of jobs over the last couple of years.
I don't think they're ever going to even think about Josh Hannay. Newcastle need to bring their own in, right? Blake Green's there, Brad Arthur's there. Brad Arthur's not a Newcastle guy, but he's established, right? He's established. He's got the runs on the board. He's coached. He understands. He can put structures together, everything like that. Josh Hannay is an assistant coach. You all know what assistant coach do. They're just sort of you're doing a lot of game plans and everything like that. But the perfect job for Josh Hannay, if everything falls over, up north. I think he'd be eyeing that if Big Rod gets sacked. If they don't make the 8.
Okay, so I like that. So it's not necessarily about you don't think Josh Hannay would be a good fit at Newcastle.
He'd be a great fit.
If North Queensland lost Todd Payton, then you would grab. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
So he's a Townsville boy. He's a Townsville boy. I remember playing him, 16 years old. Remember they tried to play him when he was 16? He's a Townsville prodigy, right? So his whole dream would have been obviously he's been in the coaching system for ages, to coach Townsville.
Is there not any you know how much I love Brad Arthur. He was one of my favourite coaches, even in an interim role and assistant. I feel like
I'd pick
BA makes so much sense because one, they just got Budsy, which is his son Matt, and then they just recently, it feels like this is all but done, right? Because they just got Jakey from Manly as well. His 2 sons are there. Even though I don't like that, we've talked about it.
I hate that.
We've talked about it at length about Flano. I would prefer Kyle go somewhere else and play away from Shane. And I believe the best thing for Jakey to do a couple of years ago was to get out of Para and go to Manly, where he's able just to work on his footy without all the head noise of it. So even though I dislike that happening, I feel like it is a huge chance because that's how sort of the footy circles work.
Yeah. It's a little the coaches just go around. And, he's going to get a job, Arthur.
Yeah, Brad Arthur will?
Yeah, easy. And he'll probably get the Knights job. He'll easily probably get the Knights job because he can coach. He's a really good coach. Newcastle obviously don't. With Adam O'Brien, I hear rumours. I'm from Newcastle. I understand what's going on there. And he's just not that dude up there.
Well, to be fair, even if he's not that dude, you know how sympathetic I am with coaches, all right? My big thing is especially with new coaches, I need to see a full 2 years before I, have a proper assessment on the way I look at coaches. And if it's not happening, then I like to give them all the way until Magic Round in the 3rd season. So that's why I give, Jason Rolls, I'm not even talking about him at Parry, even though I feel like I can see things on the rise. Benji is completely different because he had something unique happen to him with the Lockie Galvin situation.
Yeah.
He almost gets another year for me. Adam O'Brien's been there for 6 years now.
6 years. That's what I was going to say. 6 years.
6 years. He's they've made a couple of late runs. And it feels like every year they're going to learn from those mistakes, start the season better. And you know what, Mace? He still might, crazy enough, like there still might be a little mini run here, but I think 6 years is enough. I think we've seen enough from Adam O'Brien as a Knights coach, and I think they're looking for at least some different ideas, a new voice, and I think that could serve Newcastle well.
What saved him was when they went on that run and won 10 or 11. Yeah, 10 or 11. No, yeah. They go on runs and it saves his ass. Otherwise, I know what Newcastle's like. They'll just go, you're not it, right? Yeah. He got them to like, that first sort of semi, done. You don't, and they've had a decent team to get to a prelim. At least a prelim in the last 6 years. And I've heard, and I've met Adam O'Brien.
The results have been underwhelming with the roster that they've had. Like, if you look at their forward pack, you've got, Leo Thompson, Jacob Saifidi, Tyson Frizzell, Kai Pearce-Paul, Dylan Lucas. I love that pack. I even love Phoenix Crossland and Jaden Brayley. That's like, I know that they haven't been as healthy this year compared to other years, but Kalen in the back's an emerging Fletcher Sharp. Bradman Best is, he can't get those hamstrings right, but when he's out there, he's really effective. Gags is a vet. Like, they've got so many nice pieces, man.
And that's the thing, right? We've talked about this for ages, right? He has had 6 years to get this shit right with the spine, and he hasn't. He's had all the forwards, he's had all the outside backs, but he hasn't got and figured out the spine.
Yeah.
And then
if Kalen does go, it's the interesting one just on Kalen before we move off as well. Like, if he does decide, all right, I can't see the future here. Maybe it's coach dependent, maybe it's not, but I just want to go give something a crack. He strikes me as the sort of personality. I reckon he would be probably more interested in the south of France and Japanese rugby for a small stint, and then doing a good travel.
I'm going to have to call him. Just tell him. If he goes and he's thinking about union, which he has been for the last couple of years, if he wants to play for the All Blacks, it's probably the hardest thing that he'll ever do, right? Yeah. It's going to be the biggest challenge. South of France, Japanese rugby, I don't think it's going to be a challenge for him. AB's different challenge, right? You have a look at Tuivasa-Sheck at that time. Tuivasa-Sheck, absolute gun. Didn't get played the right way. Understand that, like, with union and league, you coming over, they don't treat you the same as you coming up through the grades, right? As a union player. Yeah. So like he needs to deal with that. And I think if he's smart, he'd go to Europe.
Do you reckon I know the French rugby is probably one of the more competitive leagues in the world now. Like, and like, I had a league, you played both league and union over there. They can be cutthroat though. Like, if you don't come over, and if you're injured or you don't play well and you're not getting results, mate, they just fuck you off as well.
See you later. Yeah. See you later. But I think he needs to do his little. I don't know if he should play in the Australian and whatever, Super 12 or whatever. I call it Super
Rugby
back then. Yeah, Super Rugby. Do maybe a year or two here, and then try and play for the ABs, right? Try. And then if you don't, then you can fuck off to like French rugby. Because he hasn't played.
I sort of view it the same way as I view Joseph Manu. Like, you go over to Japanese rugby, you learn the game again for a couple of years, and if you do have ambitions to go and give it a proper crack and then try to make the Kiwis, then you come back to Super Rugby. But the thing is, Kalen's running out of time. If he wants to do it, I think the World Cup's in 2027, right? Yeah. 2027. So if it's almost, if he is thinking that, he has to go potentially next year straight away to Japanese rugby or French rugby, get a full season into that level of play, and then try to come back and play Super Rugby in one of the New Zealand teams so he can then play for the All Blacks.
I'll probably go straight to Super Rugby if I was him. Yeah.
Okay. And if you're trying to make a 2027 World Cup.
Oh, yeah. Don't go play in the Japanese thing. Like, just go straight there, try and play for the Crusaders or whatever it is, or like, is it whatever you want to play for, right? Go there
That
straight away.
That path didn't work out for Roger and Benji, and they weren't as successful. The path that seemed like it was the more successful route was Sonny, when Sonny went to French rugby for a couple of years, and then he come back and then played for. Did he play for the Chiefs first or the Crusaders?
Yeah, one of them. Yeah,
yeah,
and he played NPC. Like he played for like the local fucking team, Manukau or something like that. Yeah. Like he played for those guys. So I don't know what the route is for Ponga, right? Yeah. If he wants to play for the ABs, I think he should go straight to Super Rugby. But if he doesn't,
by the way,
if he doesn't, just go to Japanese rugby and just go to the French rugby.
By the way, I don't want Kalen to leave. I don't want him to leave our game. I love watching him play. So
just come the Dogs.
Yeah. I hope if he does stay, there were reports linked to the Sydney Roosters. I can't see a world in which if Newcastle do let him go from 2 years left on his contract, there's no way they let him go play for another NRL club. I can't see that happening.
No, he has to leave. He's got to leave the whole game.
All right, a name we just mentioned there. We won't. Let's go from Kalen to Roger. We talked about Roger. So, Warriors flyer Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is closing in on joining the lucrative Rugby 360 competition on a contract valued at nearly $1 million per season. The Sydney Morning Herald reports Tuivasa-Sheck is in negotiations to sign with the competition in 2027. His deal expires at the end of 2026, so that works out perfectly for him. According to the report, Tuivasa-Sheck will be on around $550 for the Warriors next season, which would mean he'd almost double his money. Roger would be 32, 33 as well. This is a quoted report from Cameron George as saying he was worried about the threat 360 poses to the NRL. I raised it at a recent CEO's meeting to ensure everyone's aware of the real and genuine threat Rugby 360 concept is. I'm aware of players that have been interviewed and engaged with. I'm aware of the significant financial opportunities that it could bring, particularly around the branding of players as individuals. Pappenhausen is also in the sights of 360. Storm superstar Ryan Pappenhausen is reportedly in the sights of cashed-up Saudi-backed rugby union competition called 360. The yet-to-be-formed R360 concept is targeting the world's best players on lucrative contracts to compete in a breakaway competition. It is understood they want to launch in September next year and will include 300 players, 12 franchises, and it will take place in 16 glamorous venues across Europe. The Sydney Morning Herald is also reporting that Nelson Asafa-Solomona is also being discussed. Mace, this all, for me, I feel like I'm watching news articles all the time and I'm trying to be across rugby league. This completely caught me off guard yesterday. I had no idea what R360 was, but it sounds like behind the scenes, people have been working towards, or at least having conversations with some of the players. Is this a threat to rugby league in any way? It feels like it's a huge threat to rugby union, obviously.
Massive to union.
Should we be worried about rugby league players in the NRL?
No. Because 2 players have been targeted, right? Or 3.
Well, that's just now.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, like, you can't just go and get rugby league players because I don't think the Saudis understand it's a fucking totally different game. You know what I mean? It's a lot of money over there. It's a lot of money, right? And I don't think it's going to threaten league at all. At all. They're going to get our main players. They're going to target them. You know what I mean? But like, union's the one that's under threat. That's it. I don't think league.
So what about this? So what about this, Mace? If you are trying to get up an R360 competition going, and you want to get Australian eyeballs on the competition, and New Zealand eyeballs, Ryan Pappenhausen has a huge following in rugby league. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck could have a bigger following. So if you're able to secure these 2 guys, I feel like when I was living in the UK, and then post sort of COVID, there was all this chat about the English Premier League and world football not taking the Saudis seriously with the huge money that they're throwing with the likes of, and getting guys like Cristiano Ronaldo at the back end of their season.
Yeah.
And that sort of hasn't really affected the English Premier League too much, because, as good as Cristiano Ronaldo is, it's at the back end of his career. But I can see the other end of it, where I think we might be sitting somewhere in between, where it's for me anyway, and I reckon there's a lot of people who love their golf just like me. It's fucked golf. It really has. Like, even though we still see the main players at the PGAs and at the majors, like, I hardly ever watch live golf too much, but I never watch any of the PGAs now, not like I used to anyway. I have the same interest.
Yeah.
Aside from the majors when it comes to golf. So I think it's really affected golf. Probably not as a huge effect on football as in soccer, because they've more targeted.
So many players, and there's so many players playing soccer,
and there's such a huge talent pool. You're right.
Yeah.
But if they were to, I think, Rogers now at the back end of his career, I think would be a great move for Rog too at this point of his career. Pappenhausen's still kind of at the start of the back nine. But if they were to get Kalen and Pappenhausen, I think that would be
massive.
For
they're three of our biggest, they're three of our biggest names. You know what I mean? Like Roger, Pappenhausen, and Kalen Ponga. Like, if they get all three of those, if you're Lee, you'd be fucking filthy. You know what I mean? You want to keep those guys.
Yeah. I reckon there's a huge chance. The name right at the end, Big Nelson. Like,
why wouldn't he?
The more I watch Big Nelson play over the last couple of years, he's done everything right. Won a competition, played for the Kiwis, World Cups, all that sort of stuff. He he's starting his back nine now too, or at the start of his back nine. Like, if he got a mil 1.5 to go to rugby union and play in a shortened version competition of the R360, like, guys like that just seem like it makes so much sense.
Even KP makes sense, right? 27, 28, can I play another 5 years? Just say in the NRL with KP, right? Right now, injuries, head knocks, it's so demanding, right? Every single week you need to be like Kalen Ponga. We expect Kalen Ponga to be the best player in Newcastle every week.
Yeah,
Queensland, and Queensland, I need you to carve up. And he hasn't been doing that for the last sort of probably, I don't know, like 12 months. Yeah,
he was really good last year. He's really good.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
we got Dalian, the 24 season.
But I'm saying
23.
But I'm saying, because he has a little bit of an off season, an off year last year. Oh, he's not that good. No, he's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Like, don't ever think that like we can there's going to be a next Kalen Ponga. Never. There's never going to be a next fucking Greg Inglis or a Sonny Bill or any of these guys where the game gets really arrogant like that, right? Get really arrogant. And they think, oh, we're going to develop all these players. You're not. He's a once-in-a-generation player, right? Kalen Ponga is. And you want to keep him in our game because he's the face of the game, good-looking cat, plays like a machine, does everything. I don't want Kalen Ponga to leave. I don't. But
you wouldn't begrudge him if he did.
Fuck no. No, I wouldn't.
You get 3 million odds to go play in or even if it's not this R360 format, even if it's, it's €1 million to go play in the French rugby competition. Like, I understand I understand exactly what you're saying. You don't want Kalen to go, but you would understand if he did make a decision, because they're like, we play the hardest sport. Like, rugby league, compared to all the other football codes, is by far the most physically demanding.
That's what I'm saying to you. We expect him to be the best in Newcastle and then play Origin, Australia, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to play all these different levels. NRL's fucking hard enough. You know what I mean? Let alone, like, you got to play Origin, you got to play Test football. The guys like, like Teddy and all that, those guys are machines. Payne Haas, these guys are absolute animals. Liam Martin, Isaiah, people don't understand how hard that is to dominate that shit. Do it for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, right? And like, just because
throw an Origin in the middle of the year too.
That's I'm saying that. I'm like, you throw 3 of the hardest fucking games of your life in the middle, like just say after round 13 or 14,
Mm.
you know, and then come back mentally, win or lose, and then go back to your club and be the best player. You're fucking rattled anyway. You know what I mean? Like, people don't understand that. Like, to lose those games, to lose an Origin series, have a look at Nathan Cleary, what he's going through.
Yeah.
He's saying things like self-loathing and all these things. I'm just like, shit. He's like,
Post from Nace too the other day. Great
post. Very honest,
Yes.
and I love that. And I'm like, but that's what he's going through. He said that, and I went, damn. Like, obviously, when I was playing, you didn't fucking have social media, but you were feeling like that.
Yeah.
I was feeling like that, but you couldn't express the way that you felt because no one gave the fuck anyway, and there was no social media, right? And he just put it in the most perfect way. I looked and went, damn.
You nailed it, though.
That's so smart and so eloquent, and then articulately put it in perfect way. I went, wow, that's awesome, because that's what players and the players that are up here, the guys that are expected to do that, and he's expected to do that, right? And that's why he said that. That's why exactly what his words were. Like, he's expected to do this, but sometimes it doesn't happen.
Yep.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. I'd hate to be another NRL team in the composition. I feel like he's going to take it out, eh?
You're going to get it. You're going to get it. Yeah. And then when he played, he didn't have to play that game. Yeah. Comes back, backs up.
Well,
boom, boom, boom.
He's getting rested this week. So let's get to the team list for this week, right? Yeah. And my bets as well. So let's kick it off. Tonight's game over here in Australia is at 7:50 p.m. at Suncorp Stadium. It's between the Dolphins and the Cowboys. Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow is back, so Jake Averillo will move to the wing. Connolly Lemuelu has been promoted to the starting side after Kulikefu Fene Fuiaki has been ruled out. Mark Nichols will also sit out after being placed in concussion protocols. Harrison Graham and Peter Holler are the new faces on the bench. As for the Cowboys, Jordan McLean will miss with Thomas McKaylee to start at prop. Caden Lars comes onto the bench. And Jackson Bowler is in for Kentucky Derby, who shifts to reserves. The Dolphins are $1.55 favourites with the tab, $2.45 about the Cowboys, and the line is plus 5.5 for the Cowboys if you want to go with the start base. How do you feel about the battle? Another Queensland Derby, Dolphins versus the Cowboys.
I reckon the Cowboys. I reckon they got a better forward pack. I know. Yeah. Isaiah Katoa's on another level, but I think last week how Cronulla handled him, that's the blueprint. They would have been doing so much video on him. Get at him. And it'll be interesting to see, like we spoke about last week. How's he going to combat that? And that's what's going to be interesting, right? Can he get away with that and play another play? You know what I mean? Like I don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah, I've just got a late change. Sorry, mate. So let me go through this. And how's this going to work? So, okay, that's how it's going to work. Jake Averillo has been moved to 6. Tavita Nafahu, who debuted last week on the wing, he'll come in the number 18 jersey. So that's a late change for the Dolphins. It's a good point about what they did well. I'm just looking at the makeup of the lineup. So Ruben Cotter's been moved to the edge like he has been playing for how he played so well for Queensland.
Yeah.
Ruben Cotter and Jeremiah Nanai capable of shutting down Isaiah Katoa like T. Wilton and Britton Nikota did last week.
And whoever's in front of him, just say if he's in the middle of the field, right? Or just say the player was in the middle of the field and he's just to the left. If you're at A or B, you're sprinting at him so hard, right? And you're not even worried unless he's got an inside sort of. Unless who's a fullback? Hammer's usually around the back. Right? He's going to go that way. So you can just really put so much pressure on him. So it's going to be interesting to see how he combats that, right?
Okay,
he got dealt with last week.
Well, here's with the lineups. We both said in the review, the threat of Sean O'Sullivan out the back is nowhere near what it was with Katie Nikorima. Now you have inside probably Hammer, and then outside and out the back, Jake Averillo. That's a different threat. That's a little bit different for the defence the Cowboys are going to see.
Yeah, because Jakey's fast as hell, right?
Yeah.
He's fast, you know. So yeah, I think they're going to come at him. They will. It'll be interesting to see. I'm going to go to
So
the Cowboys.
every week I've been picking the Dolphins because I just like, fuck it. The Dolphins have the best player on the field. I'm going to Isaiah Katoa. Now it's Isaiah Katoa versus Tommy Dearden, and I'm split.
Let's go. Dearden.
Oh, I'll go Dolphins just to go against you. So we've got something. We've got like something
Yeah,
to ride
something.
on. But I could go either way on this. I think it's
Zero confidence. Zero confidence. Because I thought the Cowboys were.
Is the bet.
I thought the Cowboys were outstanding against us, against the Dogs.
Yep. Yeah, agreed.
They
so
just
right.
they just couldn't. Hey, that's the hardest I've seen them run.
Yeah.
The weakness for the Dolphins is what? Their middle's like it ain't brutal.
That's fair enough. All right, the Sharks versus the Roosters, Friday, 6 p.m. at Shark Stadium. The Sharks have an unchanged lineup from last week's win over the Dolphins. Adam Fanua-Blake will play his 200th NRL game. As for the Roosters, coach Trent
200.
Robinson has opted to recall Chad Townsend to replace injured 5'8" Hugo Savala. He's picked Chad over Sandon Smith, who has been named in the extended squad. So we'll see if there's a late change there. Or I guess if you're naming Chad, you're probably going to stay with Chad because it wouldn't make sense to throw a curveball like that and not name Sandon straight away. Lindsay Collins will start with Spencer Leniu shifting back to the bench. They were a late change last week. The Sydney Roosters, Cronulla Sharks are $1.67. Favourites at home against the Sydney Roosters, who are $2.20. The line is 2.5 in this, Mace. And I reckon about 5 or 6 weeks ago, this changed the trajectory of both of these two teams. I expected Cronulla to cement their top 4 position with a huge win over the Roosters. That didn't happen. And then from that point on, the Roosters have played really good footy. Even though they had some good moments before this game, I reckon this really solidified themselves and gave them confidence. So can the Sharks get any revenge at home, mate?
100%. I reckon this is going to kickstart their little charge for the top 8. I think Chad Townsend, I know he's playing against his old team, but damn, I would pick Sandon Smith. I thought he deserved that. I thought he was playing outstanding before Walker come back. You know
do you think it's more of a stylistic thing for Robbo? Like if you look at what Hugo Savala was doing well, it was game managing, kicking the corners, so then Sam Walker could have joy. If you have Sandon Smith and Sam Walker, not to say I don't know if it's going to work, but maybe they've seen where they're too like for like they're too instinctual. So maybe they want to have a game manager. That's what I don't know. That's just me thinking out loud.
That must be it.
I wonder how long Savala's out for. So it's a wrist injury. I didn't even notice that in the game on the weekend.
Strap it up, mate. Just strap it up.
Sandon Smith's still part of the extended squad. So, remember this was the game too where Ronaldo Mulatalo got suspended. He tried to smoke. There's a bit of feeling between these two teams.
Oh, mate, it's always a grudge match.
Yeah,
is it at Shark Park or is it Allianz?
It's at Shark Park.
Ooh, I'm going Sharks, though.
I'm going to go with Roosters. The Sharks still haven't won me over. And you know what? If you're a Sharks fan, you like this because whenever I'm on the Sharks, they lose. And whenever I'm on, sort of tip against them, they win. So Sharks fans, you're probably going to love that.
Nico Hines. I'm expecting Nico Hines to play another great game like he did last week.
Back it up from last week. All right, let's go to the Panthers versus Rabbitohs. 2 huge outs for this game. The 2 co-captains, Nathan Cleary and Isaiah Yeo, have both been rested for this game. So Blaise Solangi will partner Brad Schneider. Dylan Edwards and Brian To'o are back, though, for the Panthers. Liam Martin also remains sidelined with a wrist injury. Isaac Tungle suspension sees Paul Alamotti record in the centres, while Scott Sorensen returns from suspension. As for the Rabbitohs, Jack White will again link up with Jamie Humphries in the halves. Cody Walker's still sidelined. Trell Mitt's back. He goes to fullback, so Alex Johnson goes to the wing. Isaiah Tass goes into the centres. Campbell Graham is again ruled out with a back injury. So Ewan Aiken returns from injury in the back row. Brandon Smith will his knee injury against the Seagulls. We'll see Saliva Villi start hooker with Mamazors on the bench as cover for that position. Penrith have Penrith are favourites at $1.40. I think this is a very winnable game for South Sydney at $3, and the line is 8.5. Mace, my multi for this week, I think with the trio of Liam Martin, Isaiah Yeo, and Nathan Cleary all missing, I'm going to take South plus 8.5. What have we been doing since he's got close to the record? We want Alex Johnston anytime.
Oh, yes.
We want him to break the record.
Please. Get two.
Trelly mid at the back, linking up with AJ. And I think all the joy for the Penrith Panthers, because Nathan's missing, is going to be in and around Blaze Salungi. So I want Casey McLean, the left centre for the Panthers. So South
nice.
plus 8.5. Alex Johnston anytime and chasing the record, and Casey McLean for the Panthers.
I like that. I think Penrith, they're on a run, right? South, they're done. They are done, right? I just want Alex Johnson to fucking score tries. That's about it, right? That's about it, right? Their forward pack is probably going to get dominated, I reckon. Blaze Salungi's really come into his own the back end of the year. They're young little outside backs. And you got Dylan Edwards back. Like, they've just got too much energy. I reckon that they'll really handle it.
All right, and that game's at Combank Stadium too. I just think with the outs, I don't think they're going to be able to dominate as much, just because when you have guys like Isaiah Yeo and Liam Martin missing, I think that brings Penrith back to sort of the quality of South through the middle. And
is Lindsay Smith playing 13?
Lindsay Smith, let me get it up. I dare say he would be. No, Isaiah Papali'i. But that's a late...
Oh, okay,
so you know what?
Yeah.
Lindsay Smith pretty much plays like the lock anyway, and Isaiah Papali'i plays like the front rower. That's how they do it. Jai Arrow, Jacob Hoskill, and up front, Tavita. Yeah. I think I'm with you on the Panthers, but I think South can keep it close.
Panthers too fit.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the the Raiders versus the Eels, Saturday, 3 p.m. at GIO Stadium. The Raiders will have the return of both Josh Papali'i and Hudson Young. So the forward pack reshuffle is Papali to start at prop, Young to start in the back row, Corey Horsburgh shifts to lock, Morgan Smithies and Simi Sasangi to the interchange. Noel Martin and Trey Mooney revert to the reserves with Chevy Stewart as the 18th man. As for the Eels, they're sticking with Josh Papali at 5'8". Riley Smith has been named at hooker in his return from suspension. Dylan Brown, not a part of the 17. He's the 18th man. And ankle injury to Kitione Katonga has promoted a forward pack reshuffle. So Jack Williams shifts to the back row. Jermaine Hopgood comes into the starting side at prop. And Jordan Semrani is the new face on the bench. Mace, this is where me and you disagreed with on Monday. And even though I love Dylan Brown, I think this is the right... probably not completely out of the team. I wouldn't have Dylan out of the team. I'd definitely have him on the bench as cover because you still want to win games. But I love that they're going with Josh Papali at 6 to figure out if he's going to be that guy next year, mate. You disagree, though. You don't like it. You would rather go with Dill.
I just don't think Joe Ash is a 5'8". That's all.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Yeah. We'll see.
I think he's a player, right? I think he's a 9 or a fullback. That's it. He's definitely not a 5'8".
All right.
Definitely not. And I just thought, if you're going to pay a guy like Dill Brown shitload of money, but then I understand, like, look, you're going next year. Let's just try and see what Joe Ash has got because he's got so much talent. You don't really know where to fucking put him, right? So he could be a 5'8". He could be a fullback. He could be a 9. He could be a lot of positions, right? So you got to really test this like young kid out. But like, if you're Dill Brown, you probably just, like, what am I doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you'd be fucking filthy.
There's also a report that Dylan was given permission from Para with this in mind. This is the report, and he declined it. Are you worried if you're Newcastle that he didn't want to make the transition this year and try to figure it out?
Yeah, I would be. Because I would have went. If I was him in his position and they're going, okay, well, you can go now if you want. Fucking see you later, right? You don't want me, obviously. I'm the future of Newcastle. You don't want me. Goodbye. Love all you boys, but players need to understand everyone goes, oh, I'm a Parramatta boy, I'm Bulldogs, this and that. Like they're acquaintances. A lot of you people that you meet when you're young, right? But it's like when you get older, you understand. Like it's like everyone has the same sort of agenda. You want to win, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like it's like
Of course,
and you think like everyone's going to be your best mate, and I don't want to leave, and this and that. I was like, in 20 years, you don't even give a fuck about that. You know what I mean? You're not even going to hang out with any of these dudes.
The part that I guess I've seen people talking about this as well, and I think it was maybe Wado, like you'd be concerned if you're in Newcastle. I've only had a little bit to do with Dill over the years. He strikes me as the sort of guy that just, despite this being super frustrating for him, just wanting to see it out properly. Like in my heart of hearts, I don't think he ever wanted to leave Parramatta. He was given a ridiculous contract from Newcastle.
$13 million with a ratchet clause.
So hard to turn down. And for sure, for him, I think there's at least he's going to not regret his decision, but I think for sure he's going to miss Parramatta. He loved Parramatta. He loves his time at Parramatta. He loves 100%. His teammates. He's always been a great teammate. There's even with this decision, even though that would be frustrating with a player of his level playing or not playing first grade, he'll still do everything the right way. He'll still train well. He'll still be like a good bloke around the team. It's not in his nature to be a dick about this sort of situation. So
and plus they're giving you this, right? They're paying you like $900, so you've got to act like that.
Yeah. See, I think he'd act like that. My point is, I think he would act like that if he was on 90,000 or 900. I think that's just the character of him. Yeah, I think that's who he is.
But
I've only had a little bit to do with him. I don't know him like full on a person. That's just my. I've spoke to enough people in and around Para, guys like Gutho, all those guys that Dill's always done everything the right way. So, and I fully. Pardon?
It sucks that they like not playing him. Let him finish on his own merits. Right?
I can also see the benefits for Para moving forward by doing it though, Mace. Like he is not going to be a part of the plans moving forward. So Jason Rolls will find out exactly who can be a starting player for him next year. So I would probably have Dill on the bench. That would be my only change. He would be a part of my 17 on the bench for cover, just in case. Because this is a really good Canberra team, and we haven't even got to who you're picking, but I assume it's going to be Canberra.
Easy.
I got Canberra 40. As well. All right, the Bulldogs versus Dragons, Saturday, 5:30 p.m. at Accor Stadium. Lockie Galvin has been named to start at halfback. Matt Burton has been named to 5'8".
Nobody listened to me 2 weeks ago when I said it.
I think a few people. I think it was very split. We'll get to that in a bit. Stephen Crichton and Kurt Mann will return after sitting out last week. Crichton replaces the injured Bronson Sherry in the centres. Mann has been named on the bench. Jethro Rinakama has retained his place on the wing.
Yeah.
Silly Tupanua is also a chance. He's a part of the extended squad. As for the Dragons, Hamish Stewart and Luciano Leilua have been named in the 17 despite picking up injuries last week. There are no changes from the side that went down against the Roosters last week. Mace, the Bulldogs are $1.35. The Dragons are $3.25. The line is 9.5. The Lockie Galvin saga continues despite people not wanting to talk about it. You've got to mention it. They've ripped the Band-Aid off.
I knew this was going to happen. I think I said it 2 weeks ago. I said after Origin, they'll pick when everybody. I said like 2 weeks ago, like when the whole team is available, that's when Ciro will make his decision.
And this is it. Best available. Lockie Galvin is the halfback of choice now.
Yes.
Does that guarantee him the rest of the season?
Pretty much.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. And I knew that. And I just said, like, I spoke to Ciro before and I said, he goes, after Origin, get everybody back available. So last week didn't count because it was like, Critter was out, whatever. Once this week happened. Once this week happened, it was like, I said, all right. I saw the team went, all right, fucking, that's exactly what he said.
So the Bulldogs, here's a hypothetical. The Bulldogs lose to the Dragons this week and Manly next week. Is Lachlan Galvin the halfback for round 22?
That's the
It's going to
fucking
continue,
best.
mate. They better fucking
No,
win.
oi. And that's pressure on Galvin. That is fucking so much pressure. And he needs to embrace that shit, right?
Yeah.
Embrace it, mate. I don't give a fuck. You come to this club. You went from a club, right? They offer you $5 million. You wanted to come over. You wanted to get coached, all this sort of shit, right? Now you got your fucking 7 on your back. Let's see it. Come on, kid. I love you. I love you, Lockie. Let's fucking
James Bracey?
see it. Come on, son. You know
James
what I mean?
Bracey,
Hey,
embrace it.
yeah, just embrace it. Just give me a James. But like you've got to really own it. The next like 4 weeks can't get done in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They will fucking turn like you know exactly what it's going to be like, right? The media will fucking turn on him like it's no such thing. And he's got the talent and he's got everything to fucking make a difference. Just do it. Win. That's it.
There are so many people waiting or hoping he fails. There's people from the Tigers. There's the media because it's getting all these clicks. I hope he goes well. And I said this for fucking ages, and people don't, because I've always said I think Lockie Galvin is the best halfback for the Bulldogs moving forward. I really feel bad for Toby Sexton. He did a good job, but in my heart of hearts, I didn't think they could win a competition with the Bulldogs. I still don't know. I'm still not completely sold on Lockie Galvin. Let's get that out. I don't think this makes them favourites by any means, but I am intrigued to watch how the next couple of weeks goes.
Posy, 100%. I'm with you. I haven't seen enough from this kid to go, all right, well, we're going to win the comp or we got a chance to win the comp better than Sexton, right? Yeah. So he's got 6 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks to prove himself and to prove everybody, hey, I'm that dude. Shut the fuck up. You know? And he should take that shit personal, mate. He needs to have that dog in him and like just be about it. Like you're a Bulldog now, mate. And you've got the 7 on your jersey. There's a lot of pressure that comes with that. And playing in that team, fucking deliver. You got all the talent. You got all the talent in the world.
The reason I love these 2 games is they've got the Dragons and Manly, and they're 2 big weeks, right? They're not shit. They're not
fucking hard.
Shit
they're
teams.
Hard teams, mate.
They're not top tier teams, but they're not shit. They're in the no man's land.
They're physical as fuck.
Yeah, these are the 2 teams that can be fucking really annoying. So if he is able to tick those 2 boxes, it's not like he's beaten respectfully where the Titans and Tigers are and Eels are at the moment. It's not like you're ticking off the bottom 3 teams. It's right in between. So you'll get a good feel for Lachlan Galvin, at least the Bulldogs with Lachlan Galvin. I'm tipping the Bulldogs to win in this game. I think they'll win this game. I'm considered a Bulldogs hater, so that shows you what opinion I have of the Dragons at the moment. All right, let's get to the Storm versus the Eagles. Ryan Pappenhausen return from the calf tightness has been delayed by at least another week. Nick Meaney will start at fullback. Xavier Coates is back on the wing. Queensland skipper Cam Munster is also slated to return. So Grant Anderson shifts to the centres. Joe Chan moves into 18th man. Trent Liero is back in the starting side with Tui Kamakamitha shifting to the bench. No changes to the side that defeated the Rabbitohs before the bye for Manly. Tab have Manly, Melbourne, $1.34 favourites at home. Manly are $3.30. The line is 10.5. Mace I've just lost the lineups here. And I'm just getting, just to make sure I've got my changes correct. Whenever I go down to Amy Park in Melbourne on a Saturday night, I like the wingers bet. Since the change of Tom Trbojevic to the centres, Leo Opawati to fullback, it's really provided some tries for Ruben Garrick on the left wing. So I'm going Ruben Garrick on the left wing for Manly. Xavier Coates feels like always gets a piece of meat down in Melbourne on the left wing for the Storm. And I'll take plus 10.5 about Manly. I think this game's going to be close. I think this will be competitive. And The Storm have sort of did their best work late against teams in the last couple of weeks. I think this will be a really competitive game. Storm just edge them just at the death, but Manly, I've seen signs of an improved roster or an improved lineup since Tommy's been moved to the centres.
I think Storm really give it to him.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly do, because they're coming through Origin, everybody's back. You know what I mean? Like this will be one of those games because they hate each other, right? These two clubs still, and I think Melbourne's just going to go, all right, we're the team, yeah, and I think they're going to make a run for it, like not a run, but like they're going to go, all right, Manly, you don't even belong near the 8.
Yeah, well, so
I just think that, yeah.
Yeah, big win against the Cowboys with their Origin stars missing. Then they get Harry and Trent Liero back against a Knights team that's missing Kalen and Fletcher Sharp and the like.
Yeah.
But that was pretty convincing at the end.
Yeah.
You think this is going to be another convincing victory for the Melbourne Storm?
I think they're going to pump a couple of teams.
All right. I'm going to go Manly. Yeah, I'm on Manly to win. I like the start. I like the 10.5. I think it's going to be close. I think I would worry more if this was Sunday, 2 p.m. But I like 7:35 p.m. at night. I think that brings Manly back into
freezing cold.
Freezing cold, yep. All right, let's get to the 2 o'clock game on Sunday at Leichhardt. This is the West Tigers versus the Titans. Taylor May has been named to make his Tigers debut with Adam Dewey shifting to lock, Mace. As a result, the reshuffle sees Alex Twell move to the starting prop position. Alex Seyfarth has been named in the starting back row after Samuela Fainu picked up a knee injury and Fanua Bole moves to the bench. For the Titans, Tino Fasua-Mala'awi will start after coming off the bench in his return from Origin last week. The switch sees Jamin Jolliffe as the only change. He'll go to the bench. That went down to Brisbane last week. The Tigers are $1.55 favourites. The Gold Coast Titans are $2.45 underdogs, and the line is 4.5.
Fuck's Stewie doing it lock? Do you know what I mean?
That try that he scored through the middle, maybe that's what,
just fucking terrible defence, understand that. But good attack. I think he's been their best for the last month, right? Easily. But not don't put him in lock. He's got to defend in the middle.
Okay, so here's what. Think about the lineup. Taylor May scored 3 tries. We all know what Taylor May's capable of. We haven't seen it in a long time because he's been suspended. Taylor May and Stafford Toller. Who are you removing out of the centres? Actually, I know where you're going to go. I know where you're going to go before asking it. So you would play Dewey in the centres and you'd put Taylor May on the wing and you'd get rid of Charlie Staines.
Easy. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I just don't. I think Adam Dewey is probably their best player in the last sort of 2-3 weeks. But I don't know how he's going to. I get it with locks; they can just attack both sides of the ruck and everything like that. But he's got to defend in the middle, Hoz.
Would you prefer him? Beast. Would you prefer him not playing the first 20 minutes then and coming off the bench and putting a guy like Sione Finau?
So what's Bole doing on the bench?
Maybe they're looking for that second wave.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Just Dewey at lock just gets me. If you're playing again.
If you are going to troll it against a team, this is I believe this is 16th versus 17th. This is the Tigers versus.
Yeah. Titans are going to get him.
15th versus 7th. You like the Titans?
Yeah, easy.
Okay. Oh, easy. Far out. All right.
Yeah. 13 plus.
I'm going to multi. I think Taylor May has a really big game for him. I can just see, I don't know, I've just watched them from afar. I don't know well.
Tino will fuck him up, trust me.
I feel, I'm saying Taylor, not Terrell. I'm not saying Terrell, mate. I'm saying I reckon those two guys are going to go that hard in this game. So I'm going Taylor May anytime for the West Tigers. Jojo Fafita has been the Titans' most consistent. So I'm going Jojo Fafita anytime, and I'll take the West Tigers head-to-head. And that's the part. I'm confident in Taylor May scoring. I'm confident in Jojo Fafita scoring. I just don't know the result. So even though I'm on the Tigers, I think that's going to be the hardest thing to pick.
Titans 13 plus.
I like it. I like it. I love the energy anyway. All right, the last game is the Knights vs Warriors, Sunday, 4 p.m. at McDonald's Jones. Gags will stay captain the side from fullback. Fletcher Hunt will start in the centres like he did last week. No Dylan Lucas. I think he's out for the season. So Brody Jones comes in to start inside. Tyson Gamble's the new face on the bench. Tyson Frizzell has also shifted to the interchange with Phoenix Crossland named at lock. You like Phoenix Crossland at lock, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Jalen Brayley to hooker. For the Warriors, just the one change. So Rocco Berry's out with that pec injury or whatever it was, bicep. So your man Kirk Catewell goes to the centres, and
he can't even play centres. He can't even play centres.
Let me get the odds quickly, mate. So the tab have Newcastle $2.80 underdogs at home. The Warriors are $1.44 favourites, and the line is 6.5. Huge week for the Newcastle Knights. Can they get the job done at home?
Yeah, I think they can. Yeah.
Okay.
Because they need to win. It's desperation times. They need to win right now to get any chance in the 8. I know the Warriors are good, but they're not unbeatable, right? Metcalf, Barnett, I get it. Like they're guns, and it's just put them down a little bit, right? A little bit back to that sort of in the middle of the pack, right? I think the Warriors should win, right? But I think the Newcastle Knights
the value.
will win.
You like the value of the Knights at that price. Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah. I don't like Gamble on the bench, but
I'm gonna go the Warriors. I'm going the Warriors. They've been way more consistent. I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle get up for this game because it's at McDonald's Jones, Sunday afternoon. I feel like that's always a good time to be playing at McDonald's Jones.
Yeah.
The Warriors, the last game on a Sunday, but the Warriors have been way more consistent, mate. I know exactly. I know I'm going to get a 10 out of 10 with effort. I don't know if I'm going to get a 10 out of 10 execution, but that's what I expect from the Warriors, so that's why I'm going to go the Warriors.
Yeah. I sort of agree, but then I just when you're in that desperation, sort of like, you've got to win like at least 3 or 4 in a row to get in the 8. And I think the Knights have those balls.
Well,
maybe.
Hopefully, Timmy Zoo has that desperation on the weekend as well, mate. So enjoy the boxing. Me and Grub will be back. We'll do the heavy lifting for you on Sunday, so you don't have to watch any footy. You can just concentrate on Tim Zoo and whatever you and Lukey get up to on the weekend before that.
Thank you.
Have a good time, big fella. And
all right, mate.
We'll see you next week.
All right, love you, brother. See you, mate.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.